But why do you have to be all the same? Bringing a Perrserker to a Fire-type raid? It's a shame. Looks like knowing your type effectiveness is all charade. Welcome everyone to a special live reporting of the Bread Report. I'm Raph, and I'm going to just go over some of the new information on both Pokemon Scarlet Violet, and even we have some reporting from the Pokemon Anime. So before we get started, I want to mention, yes, the Charizard Raids are back, and once again, they are being dominated by the Sylveon Tera Raid moveset, as well as the Azumarill. Now, I do want to say something about the Azumarill, and it has to do with one of its moves that are going to be used during these Charizard Raids. You'll want to actually use a Liquidation. You can't really use Play Rough. Play Rough is going to be stronger, and it's going to be the better move, but right now there's a bug in the Tera Raids that when you use your Play Rough, it'll actually knock back the HP bar of the Charizard, so you don't really want to do that. It's been there since the game has been released. They haven't fixed the bug on the Tera Raid for the Azumarill, but just for right now, I recommend using a Sylveon or a Florges. On your Sylveon, you'll want a modest Sylveon with these following moves. You'll want one with Fake Tears, Calm Mind, let me think. Fake Tears, Calm Mind, Hyper Beam, and as your last move you could use Draining Kiss, or you could also use Sand Attack. Now, why do we want a Hyper Beam on a Sylveon? Well, Sylveon has its hidden ability, Pixelate, which normal type moves will become fairy type moves. You could get a normal Tera type Sylveon very easily through, just searching for raids, 6-star raids, 5-star raids, finding an Eevee, and then just leveling up to Sylveon. And what you'll want to do with that is now you could Tera type your Sylveon into a normal type, but its ability is still there. So you'll get a boosted Hyper Beam from the Tera type, and you'll also get the Pixelate boost. So it's a win-win for everyone there. What you'll want to do with the Sylveon, though, is the first couple of times someone will be the host, they'll have a Sylveon in the Charizard raid, they'll want to use Fake Tears. The second person in the raid, they'll want to use Calm Mind. And then it's kind of like the Perrserker strat, but you're replacing Screech with Fake Tears. So Fake Tears, Calm Mind, the third person could use Sand Attack, and then you just have to make sure you cheer up using the Go All Out or the Heal Up cheers. The Charizard will be using all special type attacks, so a light screen won't help, would help your chances, won't help. Never mind that, sorry. It will help your chances if you use a light screen, so maybe the third or the fourth person in the raid could use a light screen. And after that, the Charizard will probably get Fire Blast or Hurricane off. If it gets Hurricane, that's going to be more damaging than the Fire Blast because the Sylveon resists Fire-type attacks being Fairy-type. So, you'll need to use a heal-up cheer when you see like 2 of your allies down to half health, use a heal-up cheer. After a few of the Calm Minds and then Fake Tears, don't attack with Hyper Beam just yet. Make sure you get one of those Go All Out cheers first. Then you use your Hyper Beam. And that should get the Charizard down to about half HP. Now this is a very prime area because then it's going to put up that energy barrier. Once it puts up that energy barrier, you do not want to use Fake Tears because any of those stat lowering moves on the Charizard will be blocked. So you want to just focus on using Calm Mind, your Hyper Beam, and then maybe a light screen or 2 at that moment. It's in this stage where the Heal Up cheers and the Go All Out cheers are going to be very useful for your game. Alright, and again I mentioned Florges. Florges could work in these toxic Tera Raids of the Charizard because everyone wants to bring the Perrserker even though you don't want to use Perrserker because it's going to be weak to fire. So I don't know why people are using Perrserker still in the Charizard Raids, but you'll want to use Sylveon, Azumarill, as long as you don't use Play Rough as the first move. You could use Play Rough when it's already at low HP after you broke its barrier, but if you use Play Rough as the first move when you're trying to lower its HP, you're going to trigger that glitch where the HP bar actually slides back up, and you don't want that, because then that'll make the Tera Raid longer for everyone. The Florges is actually good as well because it has Light Screen, it has Calm Mind, it has Moonblast, so you could actually use a Florges. I think it also has Helping Hand, so you could make the other Sylveon or whatever other Pokemon are in the raid, you could help with their attacks and they could become stronger. Another Pokemon I see a lot is Doxburn, so Doxbun, you could use a Doxbun as well. And actually Fluttermane will work too. Fluttermane has an insane special attack, about mine on a modest nature, no EVs yet. It has a special attack at level 100 of 306. Its special defense is higher than Sylveon, so you could also use it to take some hits. If you put up a Light Screen and then you have a Fluttermane with a bunch of Sylveons, they could Helping Hand on you, and then you're able to nuke it using Moonblast. Moonblast again has a chance to lower the special attack of the target, so that Charizard could be suffering from some attack drops at the same time. So, very interesting choice. So Florges, Azumarill, but don't use Play Rough again. Use Play Rough when it's near the end. Florges, Doxburn, Fluttermane. Those are the ones for your Charizard raids. Alright, for everything else, again, for other Tera raids, 5-star, 6-star, any of those ones, the big ones. So the Pokemon is going to be, I guess, supersized, even though it's not Dynamax, it's going to be supersized and crystallized, I guess. They're going to be playing at as if it's a level 90 Pokemon. So, of course, the level 100 Pokemon are going to be most useful here. And, again, just know your type advantages. I don't know how many times people have to say it, but please just know your type advantages and disadvantages. If you're going into a raid that the Pokemon becomes a fire type, or a ground type, or a fighting type, probably not best to use a Perrserker. If the Pokemon is originally a fire, ground, or any of those types fighting, anything like that, do not use a Perrserker either, because you're just going to get smoked by its stab moves. Yes, they still get stab moves on their original types when they Tera type, so please watch out for that. Also, with the Perrserker strat, another Pokemon that you could bring if you don't have a Perrserker, you could also bring a Revavroom. You could also bring a Lucario. Lucario is wonderful because he could actually act as a special attacker too. You have Aura Sphere, you have Dragon Pulse, you have Flash Cannon, you have all these good special attacking moves if you go for the Lucario. Lucario, as a special attacker for Tera Raids, you'll have to use Metal Sound instead of Screech, for instance, but it could still work. You also have Nasty Plot, which is drastically raising the special attack, so more damage for you. And something else about the Perrserker. So Perrserker, usually you'll have a raid where it's only Perrserker, you know. And the order that I've been using, and has given the most success, you don't want to use Iron Head until like 5 turns in. Here's why. You'll use the first turn to go, as the host of one of these raids, you'll want to go Screech. The second person, if you're able to communicate with them, if you're not able to, they're probably going to go Screech as well. So Screech, Screech, someone's going to throw up a Taunt, or Sword Stance. You need at least one person to do Sword Stance, because if the Charizard resets, or, not Charizard, because you shouldn't be bringing it to Charizard, if the Pokemon resets, its stat drops. If the Tera Raid boss resets, its stat drops. Then you're going to be in trouble. You need at least one person to do Sword Stance. So I suggest going Screech if you're the host. Second person on the list when you're entering the raid, they go Screech, that's great. They go Taunt, that's fine too. As the third member, you'll have to go Sword Stance. The fourth person is probably going to go Sword Stance or Screech, so at least you have 2 boosted on your own, so Perrserker has twice boosted its attack, not special attack, its attack, and then you have at least -2 on the Pokemon's special, or not special defense, come on, defense, sorry about that. So after that, that's turn 1. Turn 2, someone needs to do a heal chant. or not a chant, but a cheer, heal cheer. And these are actually very essential to any type of Tera raid. Make sure you use up all of your cheers. Even though no one needs a heal, make sure you hit a heal cheer. Because someone's going to probably be attacked, and you don't want anyone to get knocked out, because that will lower your time gauge. I've been in a lot of situations where we got past the energy barrier, but then you underestimate the Tera raid boss, and then they just knock out your Pokemon. It says you have a tremendous energy building up. Next person dies because they're at half HP. We use up all of our cheers. The other people haven't. And someone doesn't do a heal cheer, and we don't get to catch the Pokemon. Or we don't get the rewards from the raid boss either. So it's very important. Please, I urge you people to please do your cheers. Use all 3 of them. Use at least 2 heal cheers and then 1 all-out cheer or something like that in that order. It doesn't have to be immediately, but once you see someone take at least half of their HP bar as damage, you need to make sure you back them up with that heal cheer so you guys can get those sweet rewards. Alright, leaving raids. So when you leave a raid in the middle of the battle, like just exit out of the game or something like that, it creates a 10-minute frozen screen on the other players. I've witnessed this twice. Someone entered, it was a 3 or 4 star raid. I guess they had to do something, or they just didn't like the Pokemon that was in the raid, and they left as it was starting to load up all the screens and, you know, set up the terrain and stuff like that. They left. We were stuck there for 10 minutes on a loading screen. It was not fun. So just please be courteous and don't leave in the middle of a raid by exiting the game, because that does cause like a loading screen that's like 10 or 15 minutes long, and I don't think anyone wants to sit through that. Okay, next thing. There's a lot of stuff on Reddit and Twitter if you go on there. People just whining about not getting the rewards they want. People bringing high-level legendaries into Ditto raids and stuff like that. Just please be courteous of people. They'll understand how to do some of these other raids, like Ditto raids, for example. The biggest thing here I think people get mad about is the host brings a legendary. They bring Koraidon or Miraidon, something like that. That Ditto most likely has its hidden ability of Imposter. Imposter will copy the host's Pokemon. You don't want Imposter to copy this top tier, you know, this trained up Pokemon with all of these crazy defenses or offensive stats, because that'll just make the Tera raid longer, and it'll make it more difficult to stop the Tera raid boss. So, what I suggest, and many others on Reddit have found this technique, as the host of a Ditto raid, you would like to bring a weak, maybe an early route Pokemon. I've seen people bring a Azurill, I've seen people bring a Scatterbug, you know, for these Ditto raids. I'll copy that Scatterbug, and that Scatterbug will drop in about 2 or 3 hits, you know, or a Azumarill. Or not a Azumarill. You could bring in a Azumarill if you're not the host, but as a host of a Ditto raid, your best bet, according to people on Twitter and on Reddit, after all the whining and complaining, they've actually decided, okay, so yeah, just bring a low level to Pokemon. People bring a breed jack, like a Sprigatito, level 1 Sprigatito. Some people bring a Azurill. Some people bring, what else? What did I see? One time I saw someone bring I think it was an Arrokuda. There's someone who brought an Arrokuda, just a low-leveled Pokemon. Any low-leveled Pokemon will work. And you bring that into the Ditto raid, it'll copy it if you're the host, and then just have fun knocking out in 1 or 2 moves. So that's how you win at Ditto raids. Okay, so about the rewards. Again, just keep playing raids. You'll get a lot of experience candies. You could use them to get your Pokemon up to level 100, and then you can go on to the higher raids. For ability patches and Herba Mystica, I know a lot of people want those Herba Mystica to make their shiny hunts go much faster. I do as well. Nothing wrong with that. You could post it all on Twitter, and you could get like all the shiny evolutions, get a bunch of likes and all that stuff. Whatever you want to do with your shinies, do you know, like play Pokemon Scarlet, like Pokemon Snap. You take a bunch of pictures of them in the picnics. Whatever you want to do with your shinies, it's all up to you. But to get those Herba Mystica, go into raids that have the evolutions. Evolutions, Dondozo. There's a few others. Blissey has a lot of Herba Mystica. Usually on a Dondozo or an Evolution raid, for me and other people I've seen on Reddit, there's a person who got into a Vaporeon raid, and they got all of the Herba Mystica for some reason. They got a bunch of sprigs of Herba Mystica. So again, these Evolutions, these Blissey, these Dondozo raids, they're going to be crucial if you're looking just for Herba Mystica. If you're looking for Tera shards, I suggest going into 4-star raids and above, because usually those will drop more than 3 of your preferred type. And speaking of Tera raids, you'll want to go into primarily Electric, Ghost, Normal, and maybe Water, and sometimes Fairy for your Tera shards, because those are going to be the most effective types to terrestrialize in battles. Of course, the Electric, if you terrestrialize a Hydreigon or a Mismagius, and it'll actually keep its Levitate ability, so then if you become Electric type, you don't have any more weaknesses. Normal types, you only have 1 weakness to fighting, and then you're resisting ghosts, so you're actually immune to ghosts, and you're resisting a lot of other things, so sorry about that mishap there. Ghosts, it's kind of the opposite. You have 2 weaknesses, but you trade into immunities, and then you have, again, a lot of resistances as a ghost. Water, again, one of the best defensive types. You could be super effective a lot against a ton of common types like rock, ground, fire, and you're going to resist a bunch of things too, so just keep in mind those holy grail types: electric, normal, ghost, water, sometimes even fairy, sometimes even steel, so those are going to be your best bets. Alright, let's talk about some online battles. Alright, so VGC style, Pikalytics, or Smogon, OU, all that mess. Pokemon that have been dominating him, I guess you've seen him before. We have Golden Ghoul, which is the evolution of Gimmighoul. It's a crazy special attacker. It has a really powerful ability where it can't be affected by status conditions, basically, nor could it be affected. I think it also blocks status moves in general used against it, so very interesting ability. Try to shut it down using either like Gastro Acid, Worry Seed. I'm not really sure if those will work, because again, the ability blocks status conditions against it, but when you deal with a Golden Ghoul, you need to use a choice Pokemon or just something really strong that'll just hammer it. Something that'll resist or that will be immune to its 2 main attacks. The 2 main attacks it will be using are Make It Rain and Shadow Ball. It might use the first turn when you see one sent out to use Nasty Plot. When it's doing that, make sure to hit it hard and hit it where it counts. Use those super effective moves. It'll probably be holding Specs, or it'll be probably holding an air balloon. I fought one this morning with an air balloon, and yeah, it just takes away another one of its weaknesses, the ground weakness. Alright, another Pokemon that's been making the rounds on both VGC style, doubles, regular doubles, and singles, we have Maushold. Maushold is a very interesting Pokemon. It's that one that it either evolves into like 3 mice, or 2 when you evolve it from Tundemaus. And it has this new attack called Population Bomb. So Population Bomb can hit up to 10 times. And actually what's very interesting of this move, each of the hits will trigger King's Rock, so you could create a Jolly Tundemaus, give it Population Bomb, give it a King's Rock, just spam Population Bomb. You might get a flinch because you're hitting up to 10 times, so very interesting strategy if you want to make people rage quit. I kind of don't like people who make others rage quit, but it's still a interesting strategy. You could also go use Maushold in double battles. You use Follow Me, Protect, Population Bomb, and then Super Fang usually. Or you could also carry Bullet Seed or something else in that matter. You'll want to terrestrialize it into a normal type or a ghost type or something like that. Something with a lot of resistance is a lot of just regular ×1 damage, and then also one with immunity, so goes to normal. Normal, you'll get a boost for your population bomb. Also, you'll get another boost if you decide to go choice band. The technician ability, which is the Mousehold's hidden ability, is technician, so that'll boost population bomb even more. Give it a life orb, choice band, yada yada yada. Yeah, so Mousehold is conquering the scene right now. There's another one conquering the scene, Co-Star Flamigo, using Dondozo and Tatsugiri. Dondozo and Tatsugiri will form this kind of a symbiotic relationship when you have them both on the double battle. The Tatsugiri will jump into the Dondozo, increase its stats, then when it's knocked out, bring out the Flamigo using Co-Star ability, which is its hidden ability, and then it'll copy those stat boosts. Dondozo specifically in singles. Okay, so this thing is a monster. It has body press. It has a high defense. Now, body press increases its damage based on the user's defense. So what you're going to do is you get an unaware Dondozo, give it leftovers, increase its defense, make sure it's a nature that's increasing defense or attack, and with that leftovers, you need a high HP so you're recovering more per turn. Alright, your moves. Listen up now, this is very important. This thing is very stall-like. This is very annoying to fight in online battle, so you're going to do is substitute, then use Curse. Use Curse at least 3 or 2 times. That way, your attack is going up, and your defense is going up at the same time. And then, around turn 4, if you're still around, I think you are, because Dondozo's defenses are amazing. So, if you're still around by turn 4, your substitute's broken, you could set it up again, or you could use your body press. Or if the Pokemon resists body press, the Pokemon you're fighting is like, I don't know what will resist it, a fairy type or anything like that, something that will resist body press, hit it with Liquidation. Liquidation has a chance of lowering the opponent's defense, therefore your attacks will be doing even more damage. So there you have it. There's the Holy Grail Dondozo, I guess, for singles. It's just leftovers, unaware as the hidden ability. You go with an impish nature. I think I have an impish nature. You could go the one that's lowering the speed and then raising defense if you're running it on Trick Room. And then you'll have Curse, Substitute, Liquidation, and Body Press, and that's all she wrote. Alright, now let's talk about the Pokemon anime. So, just was announced today that Ash Ketchum is leaving after 25 years as the protagonist of the Pokemon show. There'll be a new series focusing on the Paldea region with the new protagonists, Liko and Roy, and they're going to be using the Paldean starters. There's going to be a special 11-episode finale starting in January in Japan. That's going to be kind of Ash Ketchum's sign-off from the whole 25 years of him becoming a Pokemon master. And yeah, so very big news in the Pokemon anime department, as well in the landscape of the online battles and the Tera Raid battles. Hope everyone has a wonderful day, and this has been the Bread Report, and have a good one. Thanks so much for tuning in.